Will Muschamp continues to surprise us yet again, just in the long line of incompetencies that I feel like he's had at South Carolina his entire head coaching tenure. We have to start with Muschamp because that's the talking point. And here's the thing I said on the podcast Monday, not just a talking point locally, not just a talking point regionally, not just a talking point in the conference, but nationally. People are taking notice of what happened on Saturday. The thing that sticks out, obviously, the last drive of the game, you're down 2 touchdowns. You get the ball with 8 minutes. And, Alex, it's one of those things, how you watch games and the emotions are running high and there's so much going on. Things kind of maybe get lost in the midst of it. Like you're not necessarily thinking in that moment, like what's exactly going on. Because I remember watching, I'm thinking to myself, why the hell are we not hurrying up? You're burning so much clock. But then to go after the game, and I see on Twitter the breakdown, 18 plays, 7+ minutes on the last drive. You're down 2 scores. Have you ever seen anything that outrageous in a much less an SEC game, but just a football game where a team is down 2 scores and acts like they truly just have nowhere to go on the last drive of the football game?
There's probably been 4 or 5 different instances in this Muschamp tenure where I thought we had seen the height of coaching malpractice, but that was the worst thing I think I've ever seen. It was an abomination. Like, I was insulted as a football fan watching that. Like, I don't even, like, what conversations are you having on the headsets where you're they were running the play clock down to 10 seconds. Like, they just didn't care. And I know I texted you about this, like, before we even started the season and just kind of getting together, like, how do we want, what do we want this to look like this year and all that fun stuff. And like, like the angle, like maybe he's trying to get fired to just collect that 13 million. Who's to say? Like, I don't know how you as a professional could do that and then turn around in the press conference and just be like, well, we were trying to be methodical. What? Is no one in charge? Like, what? I just don't even know. I can't even describe. Like, watching that was just like the height of frustration.
That's the part
which I thought we had crested long ago, but somehow here we are.
That's the part too. You mentioned the presser, the post game. That's the part that's almost just as baffling as what happened on the field is. And I was talking to somebody else about this. Is the thing that kills me about Muschamp is he is so, in his mind, he's so convinced that he's right. He's so convinced that was the right move to, and like on one hand, he says we're taking what they're giving us. They're taking away the deep ball. If we could throw a go, we would have. We're taking what they're giving us. Even if you're doing that, you're burning 20 to 30 seconds between every play, huddling and getting to the line so slow. Like, there's just no excuse for it. I mean, I blame, obviously, Muschamp, Bobo as well. If you want to put maybe 1% of it on Colin Hill, but I mean, Colin Hill's going to do what he's told by his coaches. It's on Muschamp and Bobo. But to hear Muschamp, again, in the post-game presser, just so convinced that was the right move to burn the clock down the way they did, try to score and act like we're just going to get an onside kick, like it's the easiest thing ever to do. Like, it's just a guarantee. I mean, the craziest thing, because there have been articles written about this, again, national guys taking notice, and I forget the guy's name. I think it was Every Day Should Be Saturday wrote this. If that's wrong, I apologize if he's listening or whatever. But the guy wrote the article breaking down each play, time that was burned in between. But the thing that stood out, Florida, the team that was up 2 touchdowns, took 2 timeouts in the drive. South Carolina took 0, had 2 timeouts in their pocket, and then you end up losing the game with 2 timeouts in your pocket. I'm just of the thinking, Alex, that I'd rather go down swinging. I mean, of course they're trying to take away the deep ball. You're down 2 touchdowns. They know you have to score. Throw a pick. I don't care. Be aggressive. Throw an interception. Throw a 50-50 ball. Shi Smith's been dominating all day. Or give somebody – I know the receivers stunk on Saturday, which we're going to talk about in just a second, but even with that, you have to try. You know what I mean? You can't just say, oh, we were taking what they were giving us. Your job is to scheme up and find something there. You got to beat them at their own game. I mean, again, the whole post-game presser with Muschamp still just so convinced it was the right call when again, it's become a national mockery. That's what the most dreadful part to me is. It's like everyone sees it except for the guy who's in charge of the damn thing.
Well, yeah, and you may not be aware of this new rule, but if you don't use your timeouts during the game, you do get to carry them to the next game. So we will have 5 timeouts in the first half against Vanderbilt. And it's not even like him saying like, well, we were just taking what the defense was giving us. That's fine. If you want to do that, that's fine. But when you get to the line, don't take 30 seconds to snap.
I mean, they were snapping it with 3 or 4 seconds left on the play clock. Seriously.
We were huddling.
Yeah, straight up huddling.
With less than 3 minutes in the game.
And it's a terrible look, too, because I'm not sure if you remember this quote in the preseason, but of course it was brought up that Mike Bobo said that, he thinks that, and I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but that the hurry-up offense is like, kind of phasing out of college football, that like he thinks the huddle's going to come back and that, there's advantages to huddling up and, hurry up is not kind of – basically he was saying hurry up's not all it's cracked out to be. And it's like, well, in this scenario – like in this scenario, Mike, you might want to go hurry up. I mean, in the article they wrote looking at time wasted, and they basically cut it in half. They were very conservative with it. The time between plays South Carolina wasted came out to be around 2.5 to 3 minutes. So, I mean, even if you're taking what the defense gives you, you could have saved at least 2.5 minutes. Then you have 2 timeouts. You can realistically get a stop. It's still a long shot, but I mean, at least you're giving yourself a chance. And that's what killed me, Alex, was I feel like watching that game on Saturday, and maybe I was a little overzealous on social media when I said I think this is a 6-4, 7-3 roster. But the point I was trying to make is that I think South Carolina has good football players. Like, I watched that game on Saturday, and I think there are talented football players on this roster. And I feel bad for the kids because it feels like the adults in the room are kind of spoiling it for the kids. They're getting in their way. It's like, just let the kids play, give them a chance, get out of their way. And if you lose the game, you lose the game. But it's just so funny because everybody, asked me, Chris, you picked them to lose by 21. Why are you even upset that they lost? But, and you can attest this, under the Will Muschamp tenure especially, it's just the way that South Carolina loses football games. You look back at Tennessee, you look at this one even, the way they lose, it's baffling. I know we can all handle just getting beat. You play a better team. I think of the teams you were on. You play a Tim Tebow-led Florida. Dude, if you lose, I mean, tip your cap. The dude's the best player in the country. Like, you lost, whatever. But to have the opportunity there and just squander it, not even give your guys a chance, that's a tough pill to swallow for me.
100%. 100%. It's just like, I don't – like, the lack of urgency is disturbing. Like, because you've got to think. I mean, I guess it just comes down to is like he's coaching or they're coaching in a fashion that would suggest that they don't have urgency or that they don't think or that this is like a throwaway or something.
We played like we just wanted to cover the spread. We played like we just wanted to cover the spread.
Well, that's why we kicked a field goal down by 20.
Well, and I was going to ask you about that. What was your thoughts on 30? I think it was like 34 seconds left in the third quarter. You're down 24 points, 4th and 2 at their 28, and you kick a field goal. It's one of those things. It's all I think you should have went for it because I just wonder. Listen, I know Will Muschamp does not coach due to public opinion, what people say on Twitter, but I'm in my mind. I'm like, does it ever cross his mind that like, you know what, everybody's expecting me to kick the field goal here. Let me just for once go against the grain and go for it and be aggressive. And what kills me too is I don't know if you remember specifically the drive, but that was the 3rd and 2 play. You go with this weird. We texted about it. It was the one route post whatever
1-man route.
It's like if you're gonna make a play call like that, that tells me okay, we're planning on going for it on 4th and 2. We just thought we'd take a shot maybe because like if you're truly trying to get the first down, that's not the play call. That's just not it. It's so on brand for Muschamp to kick a field goal down 24 points with a quarter to play. Like, and I just wonder.
It's on brand. It's on brand in the sense that, like, for the same reason he doesn't think he did anything wrong.
Yeah,
he is fully justified in his decision. Like, well, we're going to kick the field goal here because we got to get some points on the board to cover. Who's to say? I guess at that point he got the early line at 21.5.